Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. Look at that low point for today, right there, almost to the penny. For the second time, this pivot line really stands out because you can see that this was your high point, right? It went up, then fell, and then broke above. You kissed it, broke down, went up, went up, went up, went up, and finally broke out. We're now coming down from the other side. This level must stay in place. When it doesn't, it leaves a space or void here, where it can go down to this lower level. Why is it so important for the bulls to keep the $61,500 level today at the end of the day? It doesn't matter intraday. In particular with Bitcoin, it can change, there could be a big sell, and so on. More so at the end of each day, which really sets the record straight for where that chart was that day. In the movie, Gareth Soloway gives an in-depth look at how the financial markets move during the day. They cover important stock market measures like the Dow, Nasdaq and SP 500 as well as commodities like oil and gold. Soloway says that oil prices dropped by almost 2%, while the stock market was mostly quiet and only saw small gains. He says that he saw this drop coming and talks about what it might mean for future oil prices. He says that if the economy gets worse, oil prices could drop even more to about $64 per barrel. Gareth Soloway talks about how well big tech stocks and the coin market are doing. He talks about Nvidia's small rise after a recent drop, but he isn't sure what will happen next until the company reports its earnings. Soloway also talks about Bitcoin, which is at a very important support level. He warns that if it breaks below this level, bad things could happen for the cryptocurrency. He looks at Bitcoin's past trends, especially how it often has trouble in September. Lastly, Gareth Soloway talks about bigger market trends and predictions such as the growth of tokenized real-world assets in the crypto environment. Some people are optimistic about the future of tokenization, but Soloway is not sure if the growth predictions are realistic. He also talks about how stable gold is right now, as people wait for economic figures that could make them want to buy. So far, Soloway has both short-term trend analysis and long-term market forecasts. Don't miss the bull run in 2025. Learn first ahead of everyone else. We've put together the best step-by-step crypto G guide that will help you ride this bull run, learn the secrets of crypto, and start investing better right away. Now click on the link below to get your special copy for a little less than $10. The Dow went up 42 points, the Nasdaq went up 40 points, the SP went up 13 points, and oil went down 43C. One thing is for sure, these are all pretty quiet, right? This is a tenth of a percent up or down a tenth. This is about a quarter of a percent. There aren't many places today, but this is more interesting right now. Oil is almost 2% less than it was. If you watched yesterday, I told you that I used my smart money commodity service to short oil. So it's clear that they got my exact entry price and everything. But I did let you know that the picture showed me that it was time to sell short. And finally today, oil is down 2%. That was a nice move. We can now see that gold is up a little bit today, just a little bit. Also, Bitcoin, do you remember my hinge line? Guess what Bitcoin's lowest price was that day? The line of pivot. That's why we went back to the middle line. To this point, we've held it, which is very important. The bulls are back, and this is their last fight. They need to keep the queue. If they don't hold that line, the daily close will be below it. Bitcoin is about to have trouble. We're going to keep a very close eye on that. Moving on to the heat map, this one is a bit of a mixed bag, right? I mean, mostly open to positive like the markets are now. The price of Nvidia did go up a little after going down yesterday. Apple and Microsoft were both close to the flat line. Bitabet was cut by 0.6% by even Google. It's not a big move. Meta, the same thing. And then if you go over here, you can see the finances again with a small gain. Mostly net positive again. Amazon's sales in stores were down about 1%. We knew this heat map was a mixed bag based on the numbers though. Jamie Coutts, head crypto analyst at Rio Visions, says that tokenized real-world assets could be worth $1.3 trillion by 2030. This is a lot less than Wall Street's prediction of $30 trillion. Even though the increase is expected to be less than expected, it could still have a big effect on the crypto ecosystem, especially Ethereum. Coutts' prediction is based on the idea that the current rate of 121% compound annual growth will keep going. He thinks that predictions like Standard Chartered Bank and Sanpay Global's $30 trillion by 2034 are too rosy. Even though Ethereum is still the best tool for tokenizing assets, Scout says that Layer 2 solutions could take a big chunk of the money, which could keep Ethereum from making as much direct progress. Even so, the rise of tokenized ROS could have big effects on the Web3 environment, leading to growth in areas like NFTs and gaming, even though they are only worth $1.3 trillion. Different people have different ideas about how fast this growth will happen, but by 2030, tokenization is expected to be a key part of turning traditional financial assets into digital ones. To go over what happened during the trading day today, we had a slightly lower start, which we can see right here. There was a float up at the beginning, and then look at this. You could just draw this in for the rest of the day. It got tighter as the day went on. And that just shows how quiet it is and how they don't believe in anything, right? Big players weren't buying or selling a lot of things. As the day went on, it got a little quieter, which is something we talked about at the beginning. Here are a few important charts to look at. First, Nvidia did get a boost today after falling yesterday. The important thing about Nvidia is that it is still below this line of trend. But once more, the question I asked you yesterday is this a move up with positive consolidation, or is this going to fail on earnings and return to this 105 level tomorrow after the bell? It looks like we'll find out. By the way, I don't think Nvidia's numbers come out until around 420. That being said, I will trade those live with the earnings broker guys. That service can be found at verifiedinvesting.com. Still, Nvidia is getting a little boost after a little drop yesterday as buyers get ready for that big result again. Now, a few more things. Guys, here is your oil chart. You had your bounce when you looked at oil, right? We had a simple bounce here. That was also a 50/50 chance. And just to go over the technicals of this chart one more time, it was a familiar wedge shape. You can tell what they are though if you look at wedge designs for a long time. Okay, so let's say we hit this level once, 3 times and twice. Okay, hit this one twice, 3 times and 4 times. It is important to know that on the first, second and third hits, changes are often pushed back against the trend line. So push back, push back, push back, push back. This is what it looks like when you hit it 3 times from below. Okay, 3, 1, 2, okay, it's a 50/50 chance the fourth time. The chances of breaking are equal to each other. There was a bounce in this case, but what do we usually see when it hits 4 times? In this way, yes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. It bounces, then it bounces a little, and then it breaks. That's the goal I'm going for with oil. So I expect oil once more. You got your bounce, but it will finally break down. For me, the bottom line is probably around $64 per barrel. Now oil will only reach 64 if bad economic news comes out. This means that if this